Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to RamChat tonight. We're so excited to talk to you. My name is Megan. I'm a current student here at CSU studying business marketing. I'm a local Colorado native from Windsor, Colorado. And we are really excited to talk to you about student life and the experience and what it's really like to be a student here at CSU. So I just want to remind you all that you can submit your questions throughout the RAM chat tonight. Make sure to get on our website, admissions.colostate, that's C-O-L-O state.edu/ramchat. Or if you're an admitted student, congratulations, you can submit your questions on the school's app by using the hashtag AskARam. So before we get started, we just want to introduce ourselves, but just remember we want to hear about your questions about life on campus, what it's like to live in the residence halls, what it's really like to be a student at CSU. We are current students, so we're happy to answer those questions from our personal experiences. This is coming in great timing because National Decision Day is May 1st, so you can learn a little bit more about CSU before you make that final decision. So I'm going to have my friends here introduce themselves in just a moment, but first of all, I wanted to tell you about what I'm personally involved in at CSU and how I got involved. So like I said, my name is Megan. I'm a business marketing major. I got involved pretty early on campus. I was one of those students that was a little bit worried about needing to connect right away, but really I just went to an involvement fair at the beginning of my first semester. There's a big fall involvement fair where a bunch of clubs and organizations come out and set up booths, and you can walk around and get information, and I got involved. I am part of the honors program here, and I do first year mentoring through that program. So I was assigned a peer mentor my first year, and now I do mentor new students within the honors program. So that's been a really great experience for me. I'm also part of a campus ministry here, so if you have any questions about that throughout our time tonight, I'd be happy to answer those. I found that ministry at my fall involvement fair and got involved in that right away and found a really great community of friends who was interested in something that I was interested in, able to connect with them on that level. It is also been an amazing experience for me to get to study abroad in my time here. So I was able to go on a study abroad trip to Prague, Czech Republic, a great experience to kind of enrich being a student at CSU. And then it is also my goal to play as many intramural sports tournaments as I can before I graduate. So definitely stay active and busy that way too. So I know you want to hear from the other students about what they're involved in as well. So I am going to pass it off to Joey and Sebastian first, and they'll both introduce themselves and share a little bit about what they're involved in.
Hello everyone, my name is Joey Robertson and I am a junior here at CSU majoring in animal science on the track to become a veterinarian, so I'm on the pre-vet track. About myself and a few of the things that I've been involved in my time being here at CSU, I too was am in the honors program and did the honors community. I am a peer mentor for the Black African American Cultural Center. I am also an admissions ambassador as well. I'm also a part of campus ministry, and I do a couple of different things and volunteer activities off campus as well.
Awesome. Hey everyone, my name is Sebastian. I'm also a senior double major in political science and international studies with a minor in Spanish as well. I'm originally from Argentina, but I've been born in LA and I've been moving a lot within the US states. So kind of international students, but more of a local one as well, kind of a different story. Then been involved with a lot of different things on campus, so I've actually started doing key service, part of the key communities at CSU my first year. I also did President Leadership Program, also known as PLP, within that first year, and after that I kind of transitioned into working with the dining calls, moving on to being also an admissions ambassador, working with Joey and the rest of the group, and then also working in one of the diversity culture offices known as El Centro, kind of focused on more of the Latino community, but kind of a home away from home for everybody as well. And on top of that, then done a volunteer program called Reach Out, also through CSU, which is basically going to Commerce City, working with middle school students over there, since they have the highest dropout rates in Colorado, and trying to incentivize them to go to high school and then to college. So a little bit all over that.
Awesome. So I'm Susan Brown. I'm originally from Hartford, Wisconsin. I'm a sophomore here at CSU studying fish conservation and wildlife biology with a concentration in wildlife biology and zoology. Really long title, but I get involved outside of that as well. I was also in the honors program starting my freshman year. I lived on that honors hall in Edwards Hall, which is a community-style living hall, which I really, really enjoyed. I'm also in the honors HSA, which is Honor Student Association, so I help with volunteering through that on and off campus. I'm also the treasurer and backpacking coordinator for our outdoor club here on campus, as well as the logistics coordinator for our Campus Feminist Alliance, which works really closely with our Women and Gender Advocacy Center, which is one of those 7 diversity offices here on campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is AJ. I'm a sophomore here studying economics with a minor in business. I'm from Aurora, Colorado. Things that I am involved in is I am currently, actually before I talk about that, so I was one of those students who really started off as like a really introverted student my first year, so I wasn't too involved. But as a sophomore, after having various conversations with my mentor, I actually became involved with United Men of Color through the Black African American Cultural Center. I am now currently the vice president of that. I am also the membership and retention coordinator for the Black Student Alliance here on campus as well. I work in both SLICE as well as an admission ambassador. In SLICE, I'm the marketing coordinator, and then in admissions, I am an ambassador, which is also a cool position. I also belong to the leadership development program here on campus through, again, the Black African American Cultural Center, where we go talk to various students from high schools about diversity here on campus and other cool things about campus. I also like to consider myself an intramural rec legend, if you could say. I do love intramural sports, so that's a cool thing about me too.
Thanks, everyone. We are just going to dive right into questions, so remember to submit your questions online. We're going to start off with a 2-part question. Kayla is wondering what it's like to live in a living learning community, and Riley is wondering what the advantages are of that. So I know a lot of you lived in living learning communities, but if we could start off with Joey and Sebastian, maybe just touch on your experiences your first year here.
Yeah, so actually for me, again, I did Key Service, so part of the Key communities, which host a lot of different other ones. AJ was part of the Key Explorer, if I remember correctly. So Key Service in this specific case is more towards students that want to focus on service work. So all the Key clusters will actually do an elective that will be a year-long process, and you actually have a class of about 20 students, 30. So it's a small community, which is great just to get started, especially because in the first year you tend to do bigger classes. So it's a good way to kind of get to know the students around you. On top of that, we actually live in the same residence hall, which in this case for us is going to be Braden Hall, and it will be for the next upcoming students. So actually that's the closest one to the classroom, so it's a really nice situation in that sense, because you literally wake up and in 5 minutes you're in the next class, so you can get sleep in a little bit more. But again, it's a great opportunity to really go and do something that's more related to what you really want to do. So Key explores for more of the students that are undeclared, still kind of deciding between which majors do I really follow, which ones do I really want to. In my case, again, Key Service, I wanted to do more service work, help out the community, which actually helped me to learn about Reach Out, which that's what helped me to get into more contacts with other people, taught me about the importance of education, and that's kind of why I'm doing political science and international studies. It's because I want to get into that field of education, so kind of the behind the scenes of teaching and schooling. So again, it was really good in that sense for me. I really learned a lot, and again, get a lot out of it as well.
Wonderful. Great question, Kayla. For myself, I had an interesting living learning community experience. I, too, like Susan said, lived in the honors floor on Edwards. However, only the first half of our floor was in honors, and then the second half was not in honors. So I had an interesting mix of being with students that are in my honors courses, but also being with students that were in some of my other introductory courses, like my speaking class or my English course or anything like that. So I think that they benefit in that you are surrounded by people that are focused on the same things that you're focused on, or you already start out having an automatic interest that is similar to everyone else on your floor, so it kind of helps get that jump start push into making friends. However, if you don't live on a learning community, it's still just as fun. You can still get to know other people on your floor, still hang out, and who knows, they might end up in your class as well.
Thank y'all. We have another question. Claire is wondering, what is your favorite place on campus to go relax and or study? So I'm going to start off with just letting you know, Claire, where I like to relax. One of my favorite places on campus to go is our newly renovated Laurie Student Center. So it's kind of like our main heart of campus, right in the middle with the food court. There's lots of seating areas, tons of office space. And if I have 20 minutes between classes and I don't really know where to go, I'll go hang out in the Student Center. Usually run into a bunch of friends there, kind of hang out at a table, eat lunch. They have a laptop checkout downstairs. So I don't like to carry my laptop around all day because I get lazy carrying it around in my backpack. So I will go to the Laurie Student Center, check out a laptop, eat lunch, do some homework, hang out with friends, and that's my favorite place to go to kind of kill some time on campus and relax a little bit. Do AJ and Susan want to touch on your favorite spots too?
Yeah, so my favorite spot on campus when I'm just relaxing is pretty much anywhere. We have a ton of green space on campus, just outside of pretty much any academic building. I'll lay down underneath a tree, pull out a book, maybe my laptop if I have to be working on work during that time. So if I have a little bit of time, I'll just find a spot outside. It's really awesome. There's usually puppies running around, especially in the spring and the fall, so it's really fun to just be outside and during that time. If I need to get a little bit more work done, there's a specific room that I really like in the library. It's up on the 3rd floor. I've kind of called it the Red Room with my friends, but I don't know if it has an actual name. But it has a lot of great, comfortable seating that's kind of built into the walls, and it looks right over Horsetooth Mountain, so that's my favorite place to study.
As for me, I'm kind of more of like an indoor person, so I like to find myself relaxing like the rec center sometimes. Maybe I'll just go in there and just shoot some hoops, maybe work out a little bit. Also, I found another real cool spot that I haven't seen too many people really hang out there. I don't know why, but it's really cool. On the 4th floor of the Behavioral Science Building, and like the what is it called?
Like the terrace up there?
Yeah. Over there, I love to chill out over there. It's really cool. You get a great view of campus as well as a cool spot to, just people watch. So, yeah.
All right, thanks. Our next question is from Hassan. He is wondering, what are some part-time job opportunities specifically for international students? So first, I just want to point out that our part-time job opportunities are open to anyone, not just specifically international students or local students. But I will tell you a little bit about how I found this position. I definitely wanted an on-campus job. I started my first couple of years here, I worked at the local mall in a retail store, and it was kind of hard to balance my schedule working off campus about 20 minutes away while going to class here. So it was really awesome once I found the opportunity to be an admissions ambassador, and I've done that for my junior and senior year here because the job opportunities on campus really let you turn in your class schedule, and they can help you build around that schedule. It makes it really convenient. For example, I go to class usually from about 10 to 1 in the morning, and then I work from 2 to 5, and it works out so well. It's a nice schedule. I just go from class right next door basically to my office where I can work here. So it's been really convenient for me to find a job on campus, and this is the one obviously that I've been working in, but I was hoping maybe Sebastian could touch on just kind of the international aspect of it and how it was finding a job.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of what already Megan said. I was looking for stuff to do on campus, and I know I wanted to get involved. Coming from Argentina, I knew I was not going to know anyone. So I know that working would be another way to get to know people. Outside of that, I needed as well for financial reasons. But so I started working with Danny Coast. That was the easiest, quickest job to get. They actually have the most amount of employees on campus because they need people all the time. So it's actually a great way to get started. Even if it's not the best job, it still helps a lot to get into it, or if it doesn't relate to your major. But from there, I actually got to know other people. That's where I got into admissions ambassadors, and again, El Centro. But the next thing, like Megan said, is the flexibility with it. They really work with your class schedules. They actually work on finals week. You also change your schedule so they make sure that you can go to your finals, since finals do change scheduling. On top of that, not only that, but especially for students from internationally or all the way from out of state, from the East Coast, West Coast, so far away places where you don't get a chance to really go and visit your family if you want to, or friends. The nice thing is that during spring break, fall break, winter break, and summer break, you actually get a break from work as well. You do have the opportunities to work on campus as well, keep on working with that job if they have availability, but they actually give you the priority to actually go back home if you wanted to. So in my case, it was really nice because last year over winter break, I actually went back to Argentina, got to see my dad. When I came back, I kept on doing my jobs with no problems. They had no problem with that as well. Just let them know, and they work with your schedule. So again, that really helped me out as well. Not only financially, but again, got to know people, and at the same time, I have the opportunity to go back home and visit other family and friends. So it really works.
Thank you, Sebastian. Our next question is from Kelsey. She's wondering, if you live in a residence hall that doesn't have a dining center, can you eat at all the other dining halls? And I'm going to touch on this because I'm a big fan of the food here. We do have 6 different dining centers, and you can actually eat at any of them. So just because you don't have one in your hall specifically doesn't mean that you can't eat at any of the others. The nice thing about that is you're not getting the same food over and over again. They all have something that they're kind of famous for, and you can rotate around and eat at all the different ones. But if you're concerned about getting to one close by, there's always one nearby. So, for example, we have 15 residence halls and 6 dining centers, but a lot of our residence halls are like 3 residence halls with a dining center in the middle, so it's always really close. You can easily walk to that one early in the morning if you're not wanting to trek across campus. But then if you go to main campus, you can grab lunch at one that's a little bit closer. So I'm a senior, I'm in my 4th year, and I have my 4th meal plan because I think it's pretty darn good. So the fact that I'm not sick of it yet, I think is a pretty good sign. But if anyone else wants to touch on what the food's like here or what it was like maybe eating on campus your freshman year, feel free to do that.
I'll just touch on as well. Like Megan was saying, actually, what I like is the theme nights as well. So I know that we have an international food night, so it's really cool because I got a little bit of food from Europe, all the way from Asia, Africa, South America. So it's really nice to get a little bit of taste of different parts of the world, even without even having the chance to travel. On top of that, I know we have sushi twice a week, which is awesome, because I love sushi as well. So again, we get that on Tuesday and Thursdays, I think. That's still the same case over here in Braden and in Parmalee. So it's really good to have those opportunities to go to different places. And the cool thing as well I like with Dining Coast is that actually they listen to the students. So students actually can come up with ideas of new themes all the way to new foods that student wants, either that's because of allergies or whatever else. But it's really cool that they actually listen to you, and then by the next year, they might actually implement something that you came up with. I've seen that actually with a couple of students. So again, really cool opportunity that they actually really listen to you, and you can actually open up a lot of different opportunities with it. So again, a lot of different options.
Yeah, definitely. Just like Megan said, if you do find yourself in a residence hall that maybe doesn't have a dining hall in it, I would definitely encourage that you visit some of those other dining halls that aren't as close to your residence hall when the weather is nicer. That way, when it starts to get cold and you're like, ooh, I really don't want to go outside to eat, you can go to the one that's closest to you and not be bored of the food already because you've already had experience at some of the other dining halls.
Awesome, thanks. Our next question is directed for Susan. So, Susan, Ben is wondering, what are some opportunities on campus for wildlife biology and zoology?
Yeah, awesome. Well, great question, Ben. There are so many different things that you can get involved with on campus. Academically, club-wise, we have a zoology club as well as a conservation biology club. We have a wildlife biology society for wildlife biologists, and there's so many different things you can do with that. You can go to different conferences with professionals, so you can actually get internships and jobs through that. I have tons of friends who have gone to those and come out with summer internships, so that's really awesome. Specifically with fish wildlife conservation biology, I really like to mention our experiential learning component that we have for that. We get to go up to our mountain campus, which is up in Estes Park. It's a really pretty campus. You don't get cell reception, you don't get internet up there, so it's really fun to just kind of be up there with your peers for about 4 weeks, and you get to do that your summer after your sophomore year, so I'm heading up there this summer. It should be really, really fun. But we just get to learn a whole bunch of techniques that are being used by National Park Service, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, so we actually get to have experience with those kind of techniques before we're even in the field, which is super cool. So I really like that experiential learning, but if you're kind of more looking to like do lab work or something like that instead of field work, we also have a whole bunch of labs on campus that work with different animal species. We have a marine biology lab on campus. I know that doesn't really sound like it makes sense since we're a landlocked state, but I actually have a professor for my vertebrates class, which we're learning about the biology of all vertebrates, and he's the marine biologist on campus. So he works a lot at our campus in Todos Santos, Mexico, teaching students about marine biology as well as doing his research through there, and then brings the data back here, and a lot of students work in that lab to kind of sort that data. Also, if you're interested in fish wildlife, we also have a really large fisheries lab on campus. I have a few friends that work there, so no matter if you're interested in getting field experience or lab experience, you can definitely do that here. Or if you want to get involved in one of those clubs and just learn a little bit more that way, that's also a really great way.
Thank you, Susan. And remember, you can ask about something that we're specifically talking about, just like Ben did. Just use that hashtag #AskARam if you want one of us specifically to answer one of your questions. But we do have another one. Gabby asked a really great question, so I'm going to have everyone answer it, so you can all get ready. The question is, what was the first month like mentally being away from home? So I can touch on this first because I think I have a little bit of a unique experience. I'm a local student, so I did live at home my first year, so I guess I didn't have to mentally prepare from being away from home. But I still want to talk to you all about my transition into college and what that was like because it was a little bit different. Since I was living at home, I was about 30 minutes away commuting in every day. So something I really liked about CSU is that it had a lot of smaller communities that I could connect with. So because I was commuting in every day, I was worried that I would just kind of get lost in the shuffle. I went to a tiny little high school with only 50 people in my graduating class. So I was worried that it would feel gigantic and that I wouldn't be able to connect. But what was really great for me is just getting involved, meeting people, kind of joining those smaller communities, especially the honors community and also my campus ministry that I mentioned, really took me in and allowed me to find that smaller group of students that shared something in common with me. And really, it just took kind of putting myself out there for a little while and enjoying it and having fun and going to campus and liking that there was a bunch of people that I could meet every single day. And that really helped me kind of mentally adjust just by meeting new people and putting myself out there and joining things that I could. Eventually, I was able to just really connect and find those groups that I really fit in with and that shared those things in common with me. So that's kind of how my adjustment was, a little bit different than maybe some of yours, but I would love it if each of you would answer. So if we could start with AJ and Susan, and then Joey and Sebastian, you can just tune in whenever you're ready.
Awesome. So for me, my first month was a little bit different. I came from Wisconsin. I had just been working a summer job up at a summer camp, so I had been working with 10-year-olds my whole summer. And then I decided, when I decided to come to CSU, I knew that I would have that short turnaround time, so I was kind of mentally preparing for that. And I was kind of worried about meeting new people right off the bat and kind of transitioning from that smaller like summer camp family into the RAM family. But that actually wasn't a problem for me because right away, through that RAM welcome experience that we have on campus, you start to meet your hall, you start to meet other people, there's an involvement fair, so you get to know people in different student orgs right away, and that kind of just really helped my transition. I don't think there was a single moment, even from being so far away, where I was like really missing home. My mom called me in that first week, and I was like, Mom, I have to go, I'm meeting friends, like we're having dinner. So she thought that was really interesting because she was worried that I was going to be homesick or something like that. But just because of the communities here, like Megan said, they just really bring you in, and I don't think that anyone on my hall that entire first month really had a problem with that transition, just because we were all there to support each other and we were all there meeting new people and learning new things.
Yeah, so mine is kind of similar to Susan's. When I first came here, I really didn't have that like homesick feeling. I met a few friends through mutual interests. Mine happened to be basketball. I remember actually, funny story, I was actually playing basketball with one of my roommates, and I just beat him. And after that, we became good friends. So it was one of those you lose, I win type stories. No, but it was a real cool experience. But I do remember my first month, I just had a hard time transitioning from really waking up in the morning from classes to staying up late at night studying. That was just not a good idea of mine. Knowing my sleeping habits was staying up late and then having class in the morning. Would not suggest that at all, ever, if that is your sleeping plan or your lifestyle that you like to live. But besides that, I was able to adjust quick. Like Susan said, I was able to find friends who were helping me, different programs I was able to get involved in that really were able to help me find different interests I was involved in. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So great question as well. My first month on campus was also kind of similar to Susan and AJ's. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'm also an out-of-state student. I'm originally from Salt Lake City, Utah. So coming to CSU my first month, part of me was like, yes, I'm moving out. Like, I'm no longer in Utah. I don't know anybody. And then the other part of me was like, oh my goodness, I don't know anybody in this state. How am I going to make friends? What am I going to do? How am I going to figure this out? And like students said, Susan said, that first week, that Ram Welcome Week, was really where I got close with all of the people on my floor. And I will never forget how it happened. On Sunday, you do a tour where they you have the option to do a tour where they'll show you where the buildings are that you'll be having class in. And so I went on that tour, and one of the stops we made on the tour was in the Oval. And this girl, her name is Kayla, and now we're really close. She's from California, and she said, "Oh, will you take a picture?" And I thought she wanted me to take a picture of her, but she wanted me, her, and these other two girls that were on tour with us to be in the picture with her. And it was funny because we all looked at each other like, I don't really know you yet enough to take a picture, but we took a picture, and from that moment on, we became best friends. Now we use it as one of our own traditions, and we get together every season, every year, and take a picture and meet back up at the Oval where we first met, and that's how we really got close on our floor. We started having floor dinners and lunches every week. So mentally, I was ready for the first month of school. Now, if you ask me how I felt the third, fourth, or fifth month of school, as I was ready for Thanksgiving break to come along, that's when I started to get homesick, because I was like, all right, I haven't seen my parents in a while. I'm ready to go home. But that first month really goes by really fast, and it's all about getting to know students and kind of setting yourself up and getting ready for what you want your college experience to be.
Yeah, so again, coming from Argentina, obviously I wanted to get involved, get to know people. So what I did actually was getting involved before school even started. So I did what's called, back then it was called Preview Mountain Experience. Now I think it's called First Year Experience and Transfer Mountain Experience, if I remember correctly. So I did that one. It was the best experience I could have ever done. I recommend it basically to anyone who likes the outdoors and wants to get to know people. That are outdoorsy, that want to get active and just have fun. I would recommend doing that type of activity. Again, it's basically an extra step to orientation. It's an optional orientation, if you want to call it. We actually go up to the mountain cabins up about an hour and a half away from here that CSU owns, so it's a really cool opportunity to really get to see that. You do rope courses, hiking, do a lot of different activities within the group, do some sports at night, stuff like that. So it was a great opportunity. I actually got to meet two of my roommates. Got to meet my girlfriend, my roommate's girlfriend as well. So we basically kind of all bonded to a really good group right there. And because of that, actually, we've been hanging out. So when I came in the first month, I was actually feeling like I knew people. We all got together on that first week during all the carnivals and stuff like that we have here. Went out together, listened to music, played some games, stuff like that, and it's been great. Since then, I've actually been playing intramural sports, just like AJ, going out playing sports all the time. I'm a huge soccer fan. Obviously, I'm from Argentina, so stereotypical. But I wanted to do that, so again, a lot of fun. And actually, since Joey said about Thanksgiving, something that actually I did that was really nice, since I couldn't see my family in Argentina. It was too far away to go and come back in 1 week. We actually kind of did like a new friend family Thanksgiving type of thing. So we actually did it a week before Thanksgiving, before people left for that break. And we actually literally just got together and brought our own turkey, stuff like that, and made our own dinner, and it was actually the best experience, and we did that into a tradition. We've been doing it every year since the beginning. So pretty cool opportunity. So you get to meet these new friends that will actually end up being basically your family as well, especially because a lot of students have their families far away, so this is a great opportunity to kind of build your new kind of family, if you want to call it.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, our next question is from Emily and Jovan, and they are wondering about community bathrooms. So your experience with community bathrooms, are they clean? Maybe touch on what they are too. So Susan, you lived in a community bathroom, right? So a community hall. So if you could touch on that, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, so community halls are really awesome. I don't think the bathroom deters from that community living at all. So to touch on what it is, it's one bathroom shared between about 30 people, all of the same sex, so that is kind of how that hall is sorted out. And that bathroom has about 4 sinks, 4 stalls, and 4 showers. So that's kind of how that works. And I had 30 girls living on my hall, and it was never a problem. And I think that community style actually adds way more than that bathroom deters, just because that community style, since your doors are always open, since you're always out in the hallway, since you're walking past everyone else's doors to get to class, to get to the bathroom, to get out to the hallway to go eat dinner. It just makes it really easy to just knock on someone's door and say, hey, let's go to dinner, or hey, are you going to class soon? That kind of thing. So that community bathroom was never a problem for me, just because you kind of learn everybody's schedule, so you're never like in there at a time when you're not able to shower or anything like that. I personally had a really great experience in the community-style residence hall, and I think it was majorly due to the fact that it's just such an open community.
I will also add on to that question, because ironically, Susan and I lived in Edwards, the same hall, which is community style. And if you're picturing like what you see in the media today or on TV shows about college, and you're imagining like this tragic community style experience, you can completely erase it, because I had that same thing coming in, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to share a bathroom with 34 other females and get along. Like, there's going to be cat fights. I already know there's going to be drama, and I'm not that kind of person. And like Susan said, it was all completely avoided, because people shower early in the morning or way late at night or in the middle of the day, so you're never like butting heads like, oh, I need to shower, and everybody's in the shower. And on the plus side, in community style, your bathroom gets cleaned every day except for on the weekends, whereas in the other residence halls, they either get cleaned once a week or every other week. So you never have to worry about looking at the same like water hair in the drain every day, because it gets cleaned every day. And again, it brings that sense of community. I know on our floor, if it was like a Friday night and we were getting ready to do something, we would all sit out in the hallway and paint each other's nails. There was this one girl that had this full-on nail polish collection with like over 100 different polishes, and one girl could really do designs well. So it helps bring out that community experience as well.
Thanks, everyone. So our next question you're all going to love. Emil is wondering how to become an admissions ambassador. So I'm going to touch on it a little bit, and then I'll pass it off to one of you to maybe talk about what your experience was like becoming an admissions ambassador, but I'll just cover the process. So we're excited for you. Hope you want to join our team. When you come to CSU, you have some time. So you will not be an admissions ambassador your first year. We kind of like you to get a little experience under your belt first, get a little comfortable with the university before trying to manage that other job. So you can apply to be an admissions ambassador usually at the beginning of the second semester of your freshman year. And then you would get started either that following summer or at the beginning of your sophomore year. So you have some time to think about it. We do market it a lot. We talk about the opportunities. We go out into the plaza, which is our main area in the middle of campus, hold some signs, bother you a ton about applying to be an admissions ambassador. So you won't be able to miss us. But if you do, you can always stop by our admissions office, get more information about it. And then it is just a standard application process. So you will fill out an application online and go through an interview process, and then you'll know near the end of your freshman year if you'll be starting the following year as an admissions ambassador. But I would like you to get a little bit more perspective about what it was like going through that process. So if AJ or Susan could touch on that, that'd be great.
Yeah. So me personally, was also in the same boat you were, because I really wanted to be an admissions ambassador ever since I came on my campus tour when I was a junior, just because I thought it looked like such a fun job. They knew a lot of people, it seemed like, more so than maybe other students, just because they're involved in so many different things. So my process kind of looked like I kept on checking the job portal on our job listing on our student kind of website that we have that has those job listings. So I kept on looking on that, and my roommate finally texted me one afternoon and said, the ambassadors run on the plaza, they're having info sessions, you should go to one. And that's kind of how I got started with that. I went through that interview process and started this past year as a sophomore, and I just really love the job. It's, I think, the best job on campus. I'm probably a little biased, but I get to work with all these cool people. We're all from different backgrounds. We do different things on campus, but then we can come together for this same goal, and I think it's a really neat office in that way. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, so like I touched on earlier, when I first came to CSU, I was very introverted, and I was really content with just chilling in my room, playing video games, watching some TV, which I definitely had to make a change with that. I actually, again, had a conversation with my mentor, and she was telling me, this seems like the perfect job for you. So I went to the Career Center, and I actually met with a couple of friends there, and they helped me do some resume work, which I am very thankful for. And I was able to apply for this job. And yeah, like Susan was saying, it's a real cool experience that each of us can come here with different backgrounds, doing different things on campus, and really come to meet like one common goal. So that's a real cool thing.
Okay, we have another really great question from Bond. Definitely something that I would be interested in talking more about. What's a reasonable number of hours to work each week if you're trying to balance hanging out with friends and school and everything else? And I've definitely, the number one skill I've learned at CSU is time management. Once you get out of high school and end up in college, you have to learn time management pretty fast because there's so many things that you can do. You want to do everything. And you have a lot more free time than in high school. You're not in class so much. So it really depends. I know that's a hard answer to get, but I can tell you what my personal experience is and how many hours I feel like I can hold down. So I obviously am an admissions ambassador. The hours do really vary throughout the week, but I work this job, and then I'm also a TA, so a teaching assistant, and I grade papers. So I kind of am working 2 jobs on campus right now, and between those 2 jobs, this semester I'm working about 10 to 15 hours a week. People definitely pull off a little bit more than that. Some people are comfortable with less. My biggest piece of advice to you, Bond, is to just get to campus, kind of get settled in, see how much free time you have, and take on smaller responsibilities a little bit at a time. Start with 5 to 10 hours a week, and then see what it's like, see how it is managing it, and then see if you can add more on. But yeah, like I said, I work about 15 hours a week, and I'm able to manage that just fine with classes by working it around my class schedule. Does anyone else want to touch on that? Joey? Oh, AJ? Awesome.
So it's kind of funny because I was just talking about this. So me personally, I work about 8 hours a week, and that's for various reasons actually. One, I am also a full-time student here on campus, so you also got to balance out school. But I also think that it's important to have enough time just for your own care, self-care, which of course is the best care. So I like to hang out with friends, maybe go check out a movie, go to the rec center. So you always got to add those into the equation when you're figuring out your work schedule, and other things like that. So I say for me personally, about 8 weeks is pretty good, as well as being involved in various other things as well.
And I just want to add a little bit more as well. So I'm on the opposite end, so I'm actually doing about 20 hours a week, maybe sometimes 25, and actually I'm totally fine with that. I'm paying everything by myself, college, so I'm using actually student loans, so it kind of helps me as well. But at the same time, I actually do these jobs because they actually relate to what I want to do as a career. So they actually do lead into what I want to do. I'm a mentor and also I'm working in the education field. Work with students over here doing tours. So they actually do complement to what I want to do in the future. So kind of the reason why I take that on as well. The best thing I can say is kind of like what Megan said is time management. That's going to be the best thing. It's just take it easy. Learn that if it's too much, just take something out. It's not a big deal, and then you can get back on something else later on. My first year, I did 1 job. I did about 20 hours as well. Then I realized that I can do 2 jobs, 10 hours each, and I'm still good. And then get involved a little bit more with intramural sports. Get involved with a little bit of volunteering. On top of that, doing school, full-time student. So again, the best thing I can say is just time management. You'll learn what's best for you as well. So that's why it really depends on the student. If you want to work full-time, we have a coworker, Lucy, that basically did, I think, like 5 or 6 jobs at a time. I don't know how she managed that one, but she did. So again, it really just depends on the personality. See how much you really can handle as well. Make sure that you can also get a good night rest because believe me, college students, you need the rest. So make sure you take that. But you'll manage that. You'll learn as you go what's better, what you can add on, what you have to take out, and you'll work it out.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Caroline. She's wondering what students do for fun at CSU and in and around Fort Collins. So I'll briefly touch on one thing that I really like to do that both me and Sebastian have mentioned. So intramural sports is something that's really fun to get involved in. And they're really just student-run sports where you can get together with a group of friends and create a sports team. So I've created sports teams, Sebastian's created sports teams, and you're able to organize with those friends and compete against other students at CSU. So you can do some more serious competitive leagues. I really like to play soccer, so I'll join more competitive soccer. Or you can do like goofy, ridiculous, fun leagues. We just finished inner tube water polo, so that's literally playing water polo in inner tubes, and it's hilarious and so much fun. So you can kind of make friends that way. It's where I've actually kept a lot of my friends. I've played on the same soccer team with a group of friends since freshman year every season, and we've stayed so close through that, and it's just something really fun that I like to do to relieve stress, relax a little bit. And I'd really like to pass it off to Joey and Sebastian if either of you want to mention something else fun that you like to do.
Yeah, so like Megan said, huge in intramural sports. I've done it since day one. I've been in at least probably, I don't know, I think I looked into my record and I did about 90 games in total throughout the college career, at least 90, maybe going to the hundreds now. But again, a lot of fun. I've actually created a team for the admissions. We always do that. Just let you know, if you do want to apply for admissions, don't expect to have a winning record. We're 0 for like basically 15 right now, something like that. So get ready for that. But again, a lot of fun still to do that with friends. Actually, what you can do as well, if you don't have anybody, because you cannot build a team that was already filled up, go for free agents. Actually, the website is pretty cool. A lot of universities have this. You can actually log in there and actually go as a free agent. So other teams will actually look into you. So you can just write something. You can choose which days you're looking for because that works for your schedule. So I actually did it once. I couldn't find anybody for, I think it was one of the co-ed soccer or something like that, or actually men's soccer team. So actually I just asked a team to let me in, and they invited me, and it was the best way to actually get to know other students as well and other people within the campus community. And as well, you get to know other people within other fields, but they have some interest in soccer, stuff like that. So again, a lot of different things, and like Megan said, it doesn't have to be all competitive. There's a lot of fun ones as well. We have actually intramural pumpkin carving. Not kidding, we actually do it for Halloween every year. So if you actually want to do creative, artistic carving, I can definitely do so and get that prestigious shirt that a lot of people want, all the way to actually going into bowling as well, or Xbox soccer and Xbox football. So really just all the way from fun, weird ones, all the way to just competitive ones. So it's really up to you. Just look around. They actually happen every semester, so it just depends on what sports, and you just look into it.
If you're not quite on the what is the word I'm looking for? Like the activity level side, if you're looking for things to do other than simply play sports, the thing I love about Fort Collins is that there is always something to do, whether it be weeknights or weekends, whatever you're looking for. So if you want to play sports, that's cool as well. You can do outdoor activities. I know a lot of people like to go skiing or snowboarding. We're right next to Horsetooth Reservoir, so a lot of people will hike up there for a sunrise or a sunset, or just to kind of escape for a little bit. Down in Old Town, which is the town surrounding CSU, there are a lot of different restaurants that you can eat at, all different styles, all different varieties. There's a lot of different ice creams and different desserts. I like to go for the desserts, try a different dessert every weekend. Different things like that. There's also different music venues happening around, so there's always live concerts going on. There's art museums, so there's always something you can do. And maybe, let's say one night you don't want to go out, you kind of just want to hang out in your dorm. One thing that myself and a lot of my other friends did is that we would hang out in the student lounges in the residence halls and just have like our own movie night. So especially during like October, during Halloween, we'd have like a scary movie marathon and just get a bunch of people and sit out in the lounge and watch movies on the big screen TV, cuddle up with some popcorn and some blankets. If you're like me and don't like scary movies, just fall asleep and just be there enjoying it with everyone else. So if you're worried about what there is to do, trust me when I tell you, you'll always find something to do.
All right, thanks. So we do have a specific question here that I'm going to answer for you. So this is from Abby. It's how can you get involved with being an eco leader or a part of green team? So there's two kind of answers for that. So there's an application needed for being an eco leader, and then green team is actually a volunteer position. You can find information about both of these on a website that I'm going to give to you right now, if you're ready, Abby. So it's housing.colostate, so it's COLO state.edu, and you can just search under the tab that says sustainability. And then you can find information about being an eco leader or part of the green team. So there's that for you, Abby. And then I'm going to move on to the next question. It's from Jovan, and it's what are some things you decorated your dorm room with to make it feel more like home? And second part, are command strips actually effective? So if you want to answer this, AJ and Susan, that would be great.
Okay, so I was really into decorating my room. I personally have been on extended wilderness trips in both Canada and Alaska, so I went on Amazon and I purchased flags for those two, well, country and then state, and so I put them up above my bed and above my desk. It just kind of really drew it together. It also like got people to ask a lot of questions, like resident assistants when they were walking around. They're like, "Are you from Canada? Or are you from Alaska?" And like just got those conversations started, which was really cool. I also lived on a community style hall, so our like clothing, our dresser, I guess, was like on the back of our room. So I covered that in like pictures from high school, pictures that I was taking at school. I got pictures printed at Walgreens like every couple months to like update that and just keep that really cool, like really looking good. I had the 70 things to do before you graduate list, which you'll get at Ram Welcome. I had that up on my wall so I could check things off as I do them. I still have it on my wall even though I live off campus. I just really think that it's kind of great to kind of get those things together as you are kind of packing up for school, like all the different things that you really find that really mean something to you. So I had a bulletin board that had a lot of things from high school, and then as I collected things, so like my first ticket for my first football game that I went to, or like the fall concert ticket, I would stick those on my bulletin board. But this first set of beads like that I got for a football game, that kind of stuff. If you just collect that as you're here, you can build on that decoration. There's also tons of cool stuff at different stores when you're looking. You get kind of sucked into those little things when you're looking at stuff for your residence hall room. So I think that's the kind of like the easy way to decorate your room, is just to kind of collect things.
Yeah, so I personally didn't decorate my room too much, but I have had friends who will take like tons of different pictures from various different events here on campus, and they'll hang it up on their wall and they'll make cool different designs. So I guess my best piece of advice for you is, like Susan said, take pictures. They last forever. They're cool memories. And then just do creative things with those pictures. So yeah.
And then command strips, they do work. I personally have had a little bit of a struggle with them sometimes, but you just kind of have to really force them onto that wall and make them stick, and after that, you should be golden.
Nice. Thanks to both of you. Our next question is about work-study positions on campus. So a couple people have asked about this. Sarah's wondering how someone applies to work at a front desk in a residence hall, and is that work-study? And then Katie is wondering how she can apply for work-study and find jobs. So just to briefly touch on both of those, to be honest, Sarah, I don't know exactly how you can apply to work at a front desk, but I did have a lot of friends, especially the first year, that chose to work at a front desk in their residence hall, and it was really nice because they'd literally walk downstairs and work where they were living. But we do have student job listings on RamWeb. So if you've heard of RamWeb, it's your student portal that you get once you are admitted into the university. You're able to log on to there and look at all the student job listings. So you can find out more information and find out if they are work-study or not, and if they offer those specific positions. Just for a little bit more information about work-study positions, I'd like to just let you both know that there is information on our Student Employment Services website. So it's SES, Student Employment Services.colostate.edu. And you can look on that website to learn more about the work-study opportunities that we do have on campus and how you can get involved in work-study positions. So hopefully that answered that question for you. Let us know if you need some clarification on that. And I'm going to move on to our next question from Jovan. And he's wondering, CSU seems really large. What is it like getting around campus? So I did kind of mention earlier that I was worried about coming to a larger university compared to my tiny little baby high school that I went to. And I was worried about getting around campus, but something that's really nice about CSU, first of all, I encourage you to visit and kind of check it out and see what it would be like to navigate, but something that I personally like is that the academic classes are located kind of all in one general area. So we have 8 academic colleges here, and they're all kind of in a row down the middle of campus. And it's nice because you can walk down that area easily between classes in our 10 to 15-minute passing periods. So a lot of students bike, a lot of students longboard. I'll let my friends here touch on that. Some of them probably do that. But I just walk to and from my classes for the most part because I've never had trouble walking around campus and getting there. Now, we do also have a shuttle bus. It's called Around the Horn. It's a big bus that just does a big L shape of campus all day. And we actually have only had it for 2 years now, and it's been so nice because especially when it's a little bit colder out, like if it snows, and I'm on one end of campus and I just really don't feel like walking to the other end, I'll hop on that bus and ride it around. Around the Horn is what it's called. So it's really nice. It runs from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., so you can get on it and get around campus that way as well. But if anyone else wants to tune in about how you kind of manage the larger campus, how you get around.
Yeah, certainly. Before I jump into this question, just to touch a little bit on that previous question in regards to applying to work at a front desk, you can simply go to the front desk in your residence hall and ask them for a job application and say, hey, are you looking for people to staff the front desk, because they're always looking for students. And the way their application process works is you'll apply for that residence hall, but you can be used at any of the residence halls on campus. You can fill in slots at different residence halls. So let's say you live in Edwards, for example, and they need someone to staff the front desk over at Ingersoll. You can take that shift, that time period, whether it's like the midnight to 4 a.m. shift or it's right during the day and you have that opening, you can take that shift. So you may not be assigned to your specific residence hall all the time, but you will be assigned to different front desk at other different residence halls. And you can still do the job being off campus. My roommate currently still staffs the front desk at Braden Hall. Even though she lives off campus, she still has shifts at that front desk. And then, like Megan said, applying for it, just go on that Student Employment Services website. To go into our current question, which is about
transportation.
Oh, transportation. Thank you. I, like mentioned earlier, I lived in Edwards Hall, so if you've ever looked at a campus map, you'll see that Edwards Hall kind of sits on the west end of campus, and your academic courses are more on the east end of campus. So I did invest in a bike, and I will tell you that was the best investment I ever made freshman year to get to and from my classes, because if I didn't, I know myself, and I was going to have to wake up at least 20 minutes early in order to be dressed and ready in time to make it to class on time. However, like Megan said, once you are on the academic side of campus, it only takes 10 minutes to get from one class to the next. However, you cannot stop and get coffee in that 10 minutes and still be on time. So sometimes you have to choose if you're going to get coffee and be on time, or get coffee and be late but be awake in class.
And just to add on a little bit back to the work study thing, so you do not need to have work study for every job either, and a lot of students do have that concern of coming in, like, I will not be able to get a job on campus because I don't have work study. That's not the case. Depends on the job. Some of them do require it, do need it, but if you do not have work study, still apply to the job, let them know about your situation. They actually will work with you sometimes and help you get that work study. For El Centro, I actually need work study, and I did not have it either, so I actually let them know about that. They said that's totally fine. We'll actually meet us in office with all the staff, apply for the work study, and you're good to go. So actually it was a 2-minute process. I did have to wake up a little bit earlier, but that was about it, and then get it done. So again, don't stress not having work study. That's totally fine. Again, some jobs will ask for it, some other ones won't. So just look into that, but again, it's a very easy, accessible thing to do as well.
All right, thanks Joey and Sebastian. So our next question was asked via Twitter by Celtic Cassie. And she's wondering, can anyone take the brewing science and technology class, or just those majors? And we are not sure, I'm not sure about specific classes. Some of the classes here do have major requirements on them, and some of them don't. But what you can do is, once you are accepted here, you are able to go to orientation, which is a program the summer before you start in the fall. It's a really, really fun experience, and one of the best parts about it is you do get to meet with your academic advisor, and you are able to meet with them, and they plan the class schedule with you, and you can talk to them about any questions that you do have about getting into certain classes, how that will work within your schedule. RamWeb, like we've mentioned a little bit before, is also a great tool for that. All of the classes, you are able to search and figure out the requirements, what major restrictions they have, what year you have to be. All of that is listed on RamWeb for each class. So you can learn more about which ones you're able to get into and which ones that you are not able to get into. So your advisor can definitely help you with that, something to talk to them about. So hopefully that answers that question for you. Our next one is from Max, and he's wondering, are guitar amps allowed in the halls? And for specific housing questions and what you're allowed to bring to the halls, we just like to refer you to housing directly so that they can talk to you about your specific case, see what they're willing to work with you with, and what is allowed in the specific halls. So if you contact housing, that would be your best route to go. So you can contact them directly, look on their website, or contact them by phone number and talk to them about your specific case with guitar amps. And our next question is from Evan. So how did you find clubs and orgs when you first arrived on campus? So great question there, Evan. I would just encourage you, I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, but we do have a fall involvement fair. So that's what I personally did. Usually in the third week of classes, there's this big week-long fair where all of the clubs and organizations come out and set up tables and booths. It's kind of like Pitch Perfect scene, if you've ever seen that, where she walks around and learns all the things. It's really, really fun. They hand out free stuff. You can learn about them. And I did that. I went to these fairs. I walked around. I was like, that looks interesting. I'll write my name down. And then I went to some of the meetings that I was interested in. And that's how I found some of my organizations that I got involved in right away. The days usually have themes for each day. So it's nice if you're like, I want to get involved in fraternity and sorority life. I'm going to go on Wednesday. And then it narrows your search a little bit too. I still go every year because they hand out a ton of free stuff, and it's really fun. It's like a big party in the middle of our campus. So that's how I found my clubs and orgs that I wanted to get involved in. But AJ and Susan, do you want to touch on how you found your involvements here?
Yeah. So personally, just like you, Megan, I went to that involvement fair and I just kind of got my name down on a lot of email lists, and I kind of just went to all those intro meetings and kind of weeded out what I wanted and what I didn't want in clubs, and that's kind of how I got involved in the two clubs that I'm majorly involved in, Campus Feminist Alliance and Outdoor Club. So that's kind of how I got that started. And then from there, if you just go to their weekly meetings, if you just kind of keep up with that, if you find something you like continue doing it. Continue to do it. If there's something that you see pop up along your way here, you know, you see an advertisement for it, something like that, do it. Like, don't let anything hold you back, like any of the current things you're in, anything like that. I know that there are a few on campus that I'm still looking forward to getting involved in my next 2 years here. So just really kind of get yourself out there and really learn what's out there.
Yeah, so kind of like Susan said, definitely make sure you get yourself out there and get involved. I like to kind of think of clubs as like a food. You never know if you're going to like it unless you try it out. So there's that tip. But no, I think my first time really hearing a lot of information about these different clubs was at the carnival that happens at the start of every year. I actually had a friend named Khalil who I've never met the guy before in my life, and he runs up to me like, you know, we were best friends, and he told me about 4 different clubs in like 40 seconds. It was outrageous, but it was cool. And ironically, I joined all of those clubs. So I would definitely get involved in that. That's where you network with tons of different people, and just join different clubs. Like I said, try things out. It's always a cool experience. So.
Thank you. Our next question is from Logan, wondering, I was placed in Summit Hall but want to spend a lot of time at the rec center. Should I try to switch halls? So first of all, congratulations, Logan, on getting your housing placement. I'm going to have Susan take this because you lived in Edwards, and just kind of tell us about what it was like getting across campus. And Edwards is right across from Summit Hall, so that'll give you a good idea, Logan.
Yeah, so I had no problem getting to the rec center at all. I had a friend that would drag me there every single morning at 6 o'clock. So even at that early time, it's super easy to get across campus. It's right across our IM field, so it's a really short walk. I don't think you should have any problems getting to the rec at all from anywhere on campus, really. It's really accessible. You know, it's open long hours, so you can go pretty much any time during your day when you have time. So you'll never have problems like getting back to Summit to get your gym clothes and then heading over or anything like that. You should never have any problems with that, and I really hope you enjoy that experience in Summit as well. I don't think that you need to switch residence halls.
All right, thanks, Susan. Our next question is from Sydney. If you get a job on campus, do you get your breaks off? I'm just going to quickly say that in this position, it does kind of depend for each position across campus, but for this one specifically, we are just required to work one break. So whether that be Thanksgiving, Christmas, or spring breaks, that's how this office has specifically worked it out. But Sebastian, if you're comfortable, since you have a couple jobs going on, touching on this question, that would be great.
Yeah, so it really depends, again, like Megan said, with the jobs and how they want it. Dining halls, they basically need people all the time, so if you actually want to work all the breaks, definitely do so. If you don't, again, they'll find probably cover. Sometimes they'll ask you if it's okay, you can stay there. Not only that, but with admissions, actually, like Megan said, you are required to, we expect you to work at least one break. But what we usually do is, if you cannot do that break either, just get them covered. So we actually just traded with another ambassador. So Joey can just pick up my tours if you can do that. And I got it covered, and that technically counted as my break. So again, that really works out. Again, each will be different. El Centro, for example, they actually just need one person to actually work throughout the summer. Winter break and then spring break, fall break, they actually are closed anyways, so they basically don't need anybody. So again, some jobs might actually not need anyone, even if you wanted to. Some other ones really need people, and they actually will ask you to stay. So again, it's really worked out in that sense. If you cannot do it, that's totally fun. Again, talk to your supervisors. They'll really work with you. I've never had a problem with supervisors. They understand you're college students. A lot of the supervisors are actually students as well, or they work alumni, or they're alumni now. So they understand what your situation is like. They've been in that boat as well. So again, just talk to them. They'll be understandable as well out of it. And again, not always might it work, but still, they will try their best to work with you as well.
All right, thanks, Sebastian. So our time is starting to come to an end, so we want to finish out with one last question. If each of us could just give a little piece of advice to admitted students as they're transitioning into college. So I'll start with just something short from me. First of all, I just want to say, I'm probably going to beat everyone to saying this, but just have fun with it. Really enjoy your time. When you're transitioning and you get here, just have a blast. See everything you can. Meet as many people as you can. And don't let it be too stressful for you, which I know is easier said than done. But really just enjoy and just try to meet people and get to know the town. As a more practical piece of advice, get a planner. Because like I said, time management is a little rough at first. So if you just get a planner and write everything down, that is my biggest piece of advice to first-year students at CSU. Just start writing things down, and then it'll all come into place, and that helped me a lot my freshman year. So if we could start with AJ and Susan, and then move on to Joey and Sebastian, if you could all just give a little piece of advice to our admitted students tuned in today.
Yeah, so I'd say my practical piece of advice, just like Megan, I'll give two. So practical advice, get organized right away. So just really make sure that you're ready for all those classes. You may get caught up, and it's super awesome to get caught up in, getting involved in all that, but just make sure that you're on top of your classes right away. That can affect you later, so just get really organized right away. But then my other piece of advice is just step outside of your comfort zone. Do something that you wouldn't have done. This is a time for you to kind of explore who you are and like what you like to do. So if you never would have climbed a 14er before you came to CSU and you have a group of friends going to climb one, join them. Just do something that you never would have done and really just kind of use this really inclusive and awesome community to kind of get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, self-care is definitely the best care. So my best piece of advice is find something that you can do to relieve stress, whether that be going to the rec center to hang or work out, maybe go hang out with some friends. I like to go dining hall hopping. That's a cool thing of mine that I like to do. So try different things out, and like Susan said, really step out of your comfort zone. There's tons of different things that are offered here at CSU, so really try to check these different things out. It's a real fun experience.
Kind of like everyone has been saying, the piece of advice I would give is come in with an open mind. Erase whatever pre-thoughts that you have about college and how you want it to be, but also know that this is going to be completely separate from high school. So whether you loved high school or you didn't like high school, whatever the case may be, this is going to be a completely different experience. You're going to meet people that you'll have more in common with than you would expect, than maybe someone that you were like, oh, I thought we would be, one-on-one but it ended up being this person next to me that we're actually very close together, if that makes sense. So just come in with an open mind, and be ready, like has been said, be ready to try new experiences and different things, and you'll really enjoy your time here. College is what you make it, and so if you want to make it fun and make it be the best 4 years of your life, like people say, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, it already basically said what I wanted to say. So graduating now in May, so basically in 3 weeks, I'm done with this whole college experience. So all I can say is basically take advantage. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's going to be probably one of the best times in your whole life, hands down. So make sure you make it worth it, whatever that means to you. Just make sure you get involved. Get out there. Do whatever you think should be right. Whatever you think you should be doing, do it. Because you're not going to get that second chance. It's going to be a great opportunity. Again, just have fun with it. That's the best way to put it. Obviously, study, do good in school. That's what you come here for. But take advantage and enjoy life as well. Get involved with friends. Get involved with our organizations. Whatever it is. Again, just get involved. That's the best way I can say it.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in to listen to our RamChat tonight. Remember that you can always re-watch this RamChat on YouTube, and we will try to follow up with you in the next few days if we didn't get your questions answered that you submitted a little bit later. We can follow up with you on email or via the school's app, so just keep an eye out for those responses. But hopefully you all enjoyed the RamChat tonight. I know we all did. We're so excited to celebrate with you for May 1st, for National Decision Day. Make sure to wear your Ram t-shirts that day. For all you admitted students, again, congratulations. Thanks for tuning in, and we are so excited to meet you all. Go Rams!